Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, The Crumbs in the Philippines. We greatly appreciate you stopping by today and sharing a little bit of time with us, and we try to get out information that's helpful to people that might be considering a move to the Philippines and what life might be like there. And it's just some tips and hints on things to make the transition and your life here a much better experience. As always, guys, if you're a first-time viewer and you find this type of information helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you're a returning viewer, please hit those like and subscribe buttons to help us get our content out to more and more viewers via the YouTube algorithm. Much appreciated. A couple of things first, we want to give a few shout-outs. And the first one goes to our guess of how much Jen and my lunch costs in the last video. We kind of threw a wrench in there, and it was a trick. I did it on purpose, but we showed the menus, which gave the actual prices, and then we listed what we ate that day, and one of our viewers correctly tallied up what the total would be had we paid full price for everything, which would have been 380 pesos. But we're very frequent customers at the Forest Green, and this last time they gave us our sinigang as it was complimentary. We didn't have to pay for it. So our actual cost was 240 pesos or $4.32. But at Wilton Davila 8957 correctly tallied up the numbers from the menu and put in his guess at 380 pesos, which would have been the actual cost had we been charged for everything. So good job on that, and catching the open book exam, as he put it in his comments, because we actually published the costs in there. I did that on purpose, knowing that someone would see that and get it correct. But of course, it's kind of tricky because no one would have guessed that we got our sinigang for free. I also want to give a shout out to Jim R., the first member of our Crumbs Club Level 1. We've never advertised for getting members, but Jim did sign up as a Level 1 member. It's much appreciated. And we're going to add perks as we go along that Jim and any others that end up becoming members will be privy to, which will be early viewing of any videos and possible one-on-one video conferencing should they need any assistance or have any questions or just want to talk in general about life in the Philippines. We'll do that one-on-one with our members. And we also had 2 people send us super thanks, which we're totally unexpected. We don't ask for those in any way, shape, or form, but we very much appreciate the 2 people that sent us super thanks. It kind of warms our hearts. And it made Jen, she was ecstatic to see that. She couldn't believe it. But those 2 came from at Everell Tatum McField, and it was a really long moniker. I cut it off at that one. And then another one was at Angelo 8376. You 2 guys, we really appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. Just thank you so very much. Okay, today we're going to talk about 6 things that expats in the Philippines should never reveal about themselves to anyone, whether it be Filipinos, fellow expats, people that you talk to online. And in a way, I guess it could have been titled 6 Ways to Ensure You Don't Get Scammed in the Philippines. And also, this topic is relevant to people no matter where they live. Whether you're living in the USA or you're in the Philippines, these are things that you should consider and be very careful about revealing to other people. Because as expats in the Philippines, the majority of us are retirement age. And being over the age of 60 kind of makes us a little bit more vulnerable, and we're sought after targets for scammers and people that mean ill will and are trying to relieve us of our hard-earned money and pensions. And you just have to be careful. A lot of these things are going to seem like no-brainers, and I would think that as well. But these kind of things just continue to happen to people over and over again. And so I just thought it would be helpful to kind of point that out and refresh people's memory and just kind of keep them aware and to be vigilant, to not reveal these things to anyone for any reason, okay? Now, the first thing is your financial information. Never give anyone your assets or your net worth, how much money you have in the bank per se. And also don't tell anyone what your monthly income is, or your pension or Social Security, all of those things. Don't reveal that to anyone except maybe your wife or significant other. And that should just be a no-brainer for people. The Philippines is a very impoverished nation. There are a lot of people that are desperate, and they try to find money in any ways that they can. And while the overwhelming majority of the people in the Philippines are honest, hardworking people and would never consider scamming foreigners and trying to bilk them out of their money, there is a small percentage of people that will attempt to do that. And it's not only Filipinos that will try to do that to expats. It's also other expats. They'll prey on their fellow countrymen and other expats to try to get them out of their money. So be very careful. Now, not only will people try to do this in everyday conversation, scammers are very thoughtful and intelligent, and they come up with these schemes, and they'll work these things into like everyday conversation. You'll be having a conversation, and they'll try to steer the topic towards, well, how much do you make, or how much do you have in your savings account, or how much do you think is necessary to live a comfortable life in the Philippines? And they're fishing to try to get you to tell them how much money you have and how much you have coming in. So that's just something that you want to keep protected, close to the vest. It's one thing that I never reveal. I've never revealed that in any video. We've done a lot of cost of living videos, but never once have I ever revealed how much my income is, or how much I have in my savings, or what credit cards I have. Those are things that are personal, and it makes you a target if people think that you have a lot of money. And not only will they try to get this information from you in everyday conversation, one of the ways that expats get hammered is through online. Because as expats, and myself, I was included in this category. I met Jen through an online dating site, and it worked out really well for me. I met a wonderful woman that I fell in love with, and we got married. But there are a lot of people that are on these online dating sites, and you never know whether or not you could be actually talking to a true Filipina or someone disguised, that they could be running a whole scam show on you and just working, trying to get information from you in order to take your hard-earned money away from you. So just be very careful, because those are the two categories that are just make us very vulnerable. We're senior citizens, and we also frequent the online sites for dating, chatting, companionship, and so on prior to coming to the Philippines. So just be aware of that, and be careful about the information that you give out regarding your finances. Okay, the second thing you should never reveal is your Social Security number. Now, there are some times that you will need to give out your Social Security number. Say if you're applying for benefits, or you're applying for a credit card, you're opening a bank account. But the thing is that in these cases, you are the one that initiates the contact and the requirement to give up your Social Security number. Never, ever let someone else be the initiator of that and somehow come across your Social Security number and get you to reveal that in conversation. Anytime someone else initiates the contact or the attempt to get that type of information from you, steer away from it and be careful. And as I said in the previous topic there, Be very careful of other expats as well as the online component and also the Philippine citizens when you live here, because there are just numerous cases of expats bilking other expats out of their money. Just be very wary of that. Be careful. I'm not saying you shouldn't have any friends and you shouldn't socialize and enjoy your life with other expats. I have many friends that are expats. But just one of the things that we don't talk about is how much money we earn, and I'm certainly not going to give them my social security number or anything like that, okay? Then the next thing you should never give out is your home address, unless it's somebody that you absolutely want to come to your house. And that's one thing that I've never also done on any of these videos. I try not to give any clues to where we actually live. Plantation Meridian is a huge subdivision, and you'd spend 2 months trying to find my house unless you knew my actual address, and it still would be very difficult to do. And you really don't want people like coming and casing out your house and stalking you and trying to find like when are you home and when are you not, and what kind of security measures do you have at your home. These kind of things. You just don't want to get into that. So be very careful about giving out your home address. And of course, there are times, just like your social security number, you're going to be required to give your address to get your internet service, to pay your electric bill, these types of things. But just don't let other people initiate the conversation and steer it towards that type of information to where you unwittingly give it out and then find yourself wishing that you hadn't. Like you come home one day and your house has been broken into and you're missing a lot of stuff. Okay, and along the same lines as your phone number, which that's not really something that's as prevalent as it was in years past. A lot of people don't really have conversations on the phone anymore. But the phone number, along with your social security number and address, these are all just pieces of information that someone can put together and apply for credit. They can get a credit card in your name, or they could even possibly apply for Social Security benefits or disability using your information. And you might find out about it after it's too late, and you'd have to go through a long and lengthy, painful process to try to clear your name or to let people know that that's not actually you that applied for the credit card or line of credit or opened a bank account or applied for Social Security benefits. Okay, just be very careful about that. Don't offer your information out there that easily. I know that seems like a no-brainer, but so many people just continue to do this, and they have problems with identity theft and all sorts of legal issues that are really hard to deal with, especially if you're living in a foreign country. Okay? Another thing that you should never give out is your email address. One recommendation that I would make would be to have several email addresses. Like I myself have 3. I have one that is used exclusively for banking and anything that involves financial matters and Social Security and credit cards. That's all just the only thing that goes into that one email. Then I have one email that's specifically for my YouTube channel. And I post a link to that down in the description box of every video. And anybody there that's out there that sees the video, please feel free to contact me at that address at any time. If you have any questions, you need any help, or you're trying to find a place to live, or you want to meet up and have a cup of coffee somewhere, that's a great place to contact us, is at our email address that we associate with our YouTube channel. And then I have another YouTube account that I use for personal stuff, like conversing with my family and friends back home, and any Facebook type stuff. That's all associated with my personal email address. So just be careful, because scammers are very clever, and the more information that they find out about you, your personal information, is they can piece that stuff together and really create some problems for you, okay? And then the next thing, and people have gotten very clever with this, is that there are certain security questions for two-step authentication process for security sites, and most things will have security questions that only the user would know, but a person that's skilled in conversation can usually fish this kind of information out of you. You have to be very careful about giving up things like your third grade teacher's name, or what street did you live on when you were in the 5th grade, or what city were you born in, or what's your father's middle name, these types of things. You'd be surprised that a skilled person you'd never know that they were fishing for information on you, but yet they could pull it out of you. I know, because myself and my dad, we have the same last name, and my father's passed away, but in conversation, a person could, they could start asking me about my dad and this and that, and just in conversation, they could get me to reveal information about myself that could easily be used as a personal question. Like, what was my high school mascot, or what was my favorite rock band of all time? Things like that. So just be very, very careful about that type of information. You don't want to give that stuff out. Even, just be careful. There are people out there that will try to do that to you. So anyways, guys, that's 6 things. And as I said, not just for expats in the Philippines, but I think specifically for anybody in the United States and Great Britain, Australia, or any other country should consider and think about at all times. Be very security conscious when it comes to your personal information, and keep it safeguarded. It'll save you a lot of grief and heartache, and avoid legal problems and just a really painful process. I don't know if any of you guys have ever gone through like having your identity stolen, or a credit card stolen and used fraudulently, or I've never had that happen to me personally, but I do know people that's happened to, and it can be a very painful process, especially if you were located in a foreign country. I can't imagine trying to deal with that, or possibly even being frozen out of your bank accounts. That would be just a horrendous thing to happen if you were living overseas. You needed to pay your bills and you had no access to your money. So just be very, very careful about giving up personal information. I know it seems like a no-brainer, but the reason I made this video is I just keep seeing case after case after case of people complaining about this happening to them, and you just have to be diligent and very security conscious whenever you're communicating with other people, especially in this day and age. We're senior citizens, which makes us very, very valuable targets, and we're also in a foreign country, and we converse a lot online as we're looking for partners and people to date and potential mates whenever we move to a new country. So just keep that in mind. As always, guys, we super appreciate you watching our videos. It warms our heart whenever we get a lot of views, and we're just going to keep making these videos. And if we just help one person or 2 people with each and every video, it's all been worth it. And as always, stay healthy, stay happy. We got a lot of videos planned coming up. We're going to start taking some trips as this weather we get past all the rainy stuff, and we're really looking forward to sharing some things with you, some more restaurants. Jen and I, we have our anniversary coming up on January 1. It'll be our 3rd wedding anniversary. We're going to go to one of the really upscale restaurants in Lipa City, the Base Cafe, and we'll share with you that one. But that one is kind of on par with Western prices, but you can get a 1-pound tomahawk ribeye that's, it's just like the ones that you can get back in the States, and the food there is to die for. And we'll share that with you as well. But anyways, stay healthy, stay happy. I know I already said that, but we'll see you on the next video. Take care.